This is the new, redesigned and refined 2024 MT-09. My name is Mark from Mustard Bikes and I'm here in the workshop today to show you how to install our tail tidy for this great bike. We've done one of these for all the previous generations of this bike, and yet again we've got one for the 2024 model. Before we get started with the install though, we're going to need some tools. This install was filmed with an early release bike. Sometimes these bike designs change over time, so please check the description below to see if we've listed any changes. To get the job done, you're going to need a 4mm and a 5mm Allen key, a pair of side cutters, a flat blade and a Phillips head screwdriver, and a 12mm socket or spanner and a 10mm socket or spanner. In the box, you'll find the product card that directed you to this video, a cover plate, a link wire, a small bag with a bunch of nuts and bolts and spacers, and then in amongst all these peanuts, wrapped in paper, you'll find the two arms, as well as the tail tidy itself, with an LED bolt pre-fitted. In the bolt pack, you'll find a number of cable ties, two oval spacers, two countersunk bolts, and two nylock nuts. Now we've got everything together that we need to do the install, we can start working on the bike. First step, take your key, remove the pillion seat, as well as the rider seats. We can now start removing the body panels. We're going to start with this little panel above the tail light by removing the two push clips and then pulling the panel backwards. Next, use your 4mm Allen key to remove the four dome-headed bolts on the upper and lower side of the tail light. For the next step, we're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver to remove the quarter turn push pins underneath the undertail here of them, 6 in total. When we do that, you only need to give them a very light quarter turn, don't use too much force, and you'll find the centre of the pin drops out. Once that's done, you can pull on that centre and pull the whole pin out. While we're on the underside of the bike, use your 4mm Allen key to remove the two bolts shown here. Back on the top side, use the same 4mm Allen key to remove the last 4 bolts holding on the rear fairings. We can now remove the side panels by pulling them outwards and back slightly, and we're going to do that on both sides. This then gives us access to the bolts holding on the rear fender. Before we can remove it, we need to disconnect the wiring to the rear fender. Disconnect the black and white indicator plugs and the grey number plate light plug. Use your 12mm socket to remove the 4 bolts holding on the rear fender. These have Loctite on them and may require a little force to break loose. As you remove the last bolt, remember to support the rear fender so it doesn't drop away, and guide the wires out as you remove it from the bike. And with that, the rear fender is removed. We can now take this to the bench, and if you're fitting the stock indicators, fit those to the tail tidy. To remove the indicators from the stock fender, we're going to start on the underside. We're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver to remove these 4 screws here. We can then turn the fender back over and we're going to remove these 4 bolts here with our 5mm Allen key. And you'll see that after removing that last bolt, this whole assembly has come apart. We can now remove the indicators from this section. Before we do, we're just going to take note that the black indicator goes on the left hand side of the bike. So we're going to start by removing that one. If we lift this little tab up, and then using our flat blade screwdriver, we're just going to pop this little plate out. And then we can pull the indicator from the front, and that'll just pop out like this. And then just feed all the wiring through. And that is one indicator removed from the bike. Then of course we do the same with the other side. Before we can fit the indicators to the bike, we need to fit these spacers to the indicators themselves. This indicator goes on the right side, so we're going to match that spacer up like this. We just feed that through. And then we feed the spacer onto the indicator. And then of course we do the same thing for the other side. We can now fit the indicators to the fender eliminator itself. We're going to start with the indicator with the white plug and put that on the right hand side. So feed all this wiring through, including the keeper plate. And then as we install this, we just need to make sure this spacer is pushed right to the back. And then we're going to start with the narrow end first, feeding that in. You can then make sure use a blunt screwdriver to push these bits in. And then push it through like such. Just give it a good twist. Make sure that all the rubber has fully seated. And then we can take this little keeper plate and pop that one back in place. And then of course, we do the same to the other side. We can then take this unit and assemble it with the side arms. To do that, we're going to need the 2 countersunk bolts and the 2 nylock nuts. We're going to turn this over and just unwind the wire for the LED bolt. And then we're going to take one of the arms, just going to mount like so, one of the countersunk bolts and a nylock nut. And we take our 10mm spanner and our screwdriver and just do those up just until they've nipped up. And then we do the same with the other side. For the next step, we need to take all these wires, so run them through here. We need to take one cable tie. I'm just going to use that through here. Run the cable tie around here. I'm going to take our side cutters, trim that off. Run another one through the other side. Trim that off. And we'll flip this over. And you'll see there's these 2 holes here. So you run a cable tie through here and then through the other hole like so. And then this one, we're going to take this LED bolt wire. We're just going to run that through there as well. Do that cable tie up. Trim that away, and then we'll do the same to the other side. That away. And then the last step is we're going to take this little cover plate and we're going to go with the textured side facing downwards, so like this. And then you'll see in the arms there's a slot here and a slot here. So this little plate goes in those slots. Now as you do that, you want to take this wire and feed it through this gap, like so. And then we do the same on the other side. Feed these two wires through this gap, lift this arm up and fit this plate into those same slots. That assembly is then ready to fit to the bike. We can now install the tail tidy on the bike. When we do so though, we're going to install the wiring a little bit different to standard. We're going to start by feeding the wiring up the side of the under tray instead of through the main hole. We then continue the wiring through the way that it came as standard. While sliding the fender eliminator into place, you may need to squeeze the arms closer together to get them between the frame rails. We can then take one of the original bolts and put that in place just to hold the fender eliminator up in place. From there, we can reinstall all of the 4 bolts that hold on the fender eliminator. With the tail tidy bolted in place, we can now start to reconnect the wiring. We've got this link wire that came in the kit, that's for your number plate light. It's a bit counterintuitive, but we're going to wire that black to red and then red to black. We can then plug all these connectors back in, the white indicator to the white plug, black to black, and then the white link wire that we just fitted to the grey plug. Now that all the wiring's hooked up, we're going to do one very quick and important check before we go and put all the bodywork back on. We're going to take the key, turn the ignition on. Now we're just going to check that the indicators light up on the correct sides, as they do here, that the number plate light's working, and then I also like to just quickly check the brake light, just in case we've somehow changed something there. Now that we know that all that's working correctly, we can turn the ignition back off and continue on putting the bike back together. We're going to slide the side panels on in the reverse manner so that we remove them, taking special care that when we do, these tabs all line up to their respective holes. We've got this one at the back that goes to the tail light, and these 3 here that line up with the under tray. Refit the 6 quarter turn push pins. Once they're seated, push the centre in to make sure they're engaged. Use your 4mm Allen key to reinstall the 6 large headed bolts, 4 on the top sides and 2 underneath. Follow these by the 4 dome-headed bolts, 2 on the top and 2 on the underside. We can then reinstall the tail light cover, taking care to make sure that the tabs all align in their respective holes. We then reinsert the 2 push pins. To re-engage the push pins, push the centres all the way out before inserting them in the hole. Once they're in the hole, push the centres back down. For the last part of this install, we're just going to check that the plate holder is aligned centrally. Use your 10mm spanner and your Phillips head screwdriver to tighten up the bolts once you're happy with the alignment. Refit your rider's seat. Your pillion seat. Bolt up your number plate and you're good to go. It's a wise idea after you've been for a few rides, just go over everything, check all the nuts and bolts are tight, make sure everything's still working properly, just in case. We hope you've enjoyed this video. We hope that it's helped you install the product. If you haven't yet purchased one and you'd like to, mustardbikes.com. We have a whole range of tail tidies for a whole range of bikes. We ship worldwide and we're very proud of our products and we hope you will be too once they're on your bike. Don't forget to share us on your Insta, get in touch on Facebook, like and comment on this video, follow us if you'd like. Thanks for watching, until next time. I've got to know work out what to say first. Can I talk?
Yeah.
I can talk.
You can. Talk
Do you want to restart that? Should we just start that all over again? Did you hear that? You said it sounds good.